Hello, and welcome to Hello Word, the podcast where we explore the richness of the English language one word at a time. I'm Alex, your host, and I'm so excited to have you with me today. Our word of the day is adverse. It's a C1 level adjective that means negative or harmful. Whether you're a seasoned English speaker or just starting your journey, this word will definitely come in handy. Let's dive into the meaning of adverse. When we say something is adverse, we're talking about situations or conditions that are unfavorable or potentially harmful. For example, you might hear someone say, "The project faced adverse weather conditions," which means the weather was not helpful and possibly caused problems. Now, let's look at some synonyms of adverse. Words like unfavorable, harmful, detrimental, and hostile have similar meanings. For instance, instead of saying, "The medication had an adverse effect," you could say, "The medication had a detrimental effect." Or, instead of saying, "She faced adverse reactions to her decision," you could say, "She faced hostile reactions to her decision." On the flip side, the antonyms of adverse include words like favorable, beneficial, positive, and advantageous. For example, instead of saying, "The conditions were adverse for hiking," you might say, "The conditions were favorable for hiking." Similarly, instead of saying, "The policy had adverse effects," you could say, "The policy had beneficial effects." So how can we use adverse in everyday life? Imagine you're talking about challenges at work or school. You might say, "Despite the adverse circumstances, the team managed to meet the deadline." Or maybe you're discussing the weather with a friend and say, "The adverse conditions made it impossible to travel safely." It's a versatile word that helps you describe negative situations with precision. Here are a few more examples of adverse in action. The company struggled due to adverse market conditions. She remained calm in the face of adverse criticism. The farmers are worried about the adverse impact of the drought on their crops. To wrap up, we've explored the word adverse, its meaning, synonyms, antonyms, and how to use it in sentences. It's a powerful adjective to describe unfavorable or harmful situations. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Hello Word. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. It helps others discover the show. I'd love to hear your sentences using adverse, so share them in the comments. Until next time, keep learning and embracing the beauty of the English language. Take care.